Hello and welcome to Yoga with Laura Ashland. We are going to begin a series of yoga clips. They will be very short tutorials, approximately 10 minutes each. And we will begin with hands and feet and continue on with other parts of the body anatomically. Now there are multiple layers to the information of anatomy. This is for everyone out there at YouTube in order to understand how your body works and how postures affect the body or body affects a posture. And we're all built very differently. So I did want to break it up in sections, and we'll probably have about 5 or 6 different short clip series. Today is the hand and feet. In your hand, you have 34 muscles and 29 bones and 28 joints. Now the muscles in the hands are also part of the low forearm because the low forearm creates the action for the hand to move, right? The hand also helps to move elbow and shoulder. This will be very basic information, but it's wonderful to have as we continue to build a practice. There are 28 joints in the hands, 14 in each hand, and they are tiny bones, tiny joints, little muscles. But to strengthen them and to have our extremities that are so fine and delicate to be a little bit more powerful, especially as we get older. So first, the hand can do a few different movements. One is flexion. Really, the wrist is doing the flexion. My hand just moved. Then there's extension. The hand can go straight ahead, almost a neutral. The wrist and the hand can rotate. That action is coming from larger body parts of forearm, upper arm, and shoulder. Hand can control that, but it requires all these parts in order to move, even if it's the instigator of the movement. Again, the hand will move out in a little bit of a lateral flexion, but very, very small. Really, that's staying very straight. It's just the hand was able to move off to the side, offline. So our hands in yoga. First of all, as far as blocks are concerned, the best way to hold blocks, it has 3 sizes. We'll go to the lowest size first. It's the thumb and the pinky, and pretty much the first 2 digits of the fingers. That way a block can be picked up. And then you have full palm down on the block. The next size, or height, again, thumb, pinky, the first 2 digits. In most cases, the line of the wrist is parallel to the line in the front of the block, rather than turning it and keeping it straight on. And the final height, thumb, pinky, first 2 digits to pick up the block and move it anywhere that's necessary. So also please use these 3 heights for different postures, for the different feel of your day. Things change every time you meet your mat. So that's how to hold the blocks. Now with the hands on the mat, there are a variety of ways to place the hand. The wrist in our modern society, and probably especially Western society, is one of the most injurious of yoga. because we no longer lift and bear weight and pick up hay bales and work in agriculture and use our wrist as we did as an agricultural society. So the wrists are quite weak, and a lot of body weight is put on the hands, the wrist, the forearm, and the upper arm. And we want to make sure that we have a very, grow the strength of the wrist carefully and slowly. So first of all, we want to have a nice wide hand here, as wide as possible. And there are two ways that you can work the hand. You can flatten the palm down and put a lot of the energy in all those 14 joints. Or you can bring the palm up like a little cup, like I could slip something right underneath the hand there. That's very much like the foot when we talk about pressing in the heel, lifting the arch. And here, the fingertips replace what would normally be the ball of the hand. Okay, it mimics the foot. So choices, lifting up the knuckle if it's necessary, but then pressing with the other joints and using the heel. That's a very powerful part of the hand. Or fully pressing and creating what would be maybe the size of a salad plate width. Keeping your hands mostly lined up, depends on your shoulder. Now here we have stacking over the wrist, elbow, shoulder. All of this energy along with gravity is pressing down on that wrist. So that might be a little uncomfortable for people that are working on getting a little strength in the hand and in the wrist. So we would step out maybe 2 inches or so. Now I am offline, but I am working to get my wrist stronger so that eventually I can bring it in line and create the nice stacking alignment of our bones. This is much stronger, but also it's risky on parts of the body that need strength. So while we're building, again, 2 inches out or so. Okay. Also another choice for your hands is fist for wrists. Now we can take it right underneath. I would keep the thumb out rather than tuck the thumb in. I think that's a little pulley on the thumb. So keeping the thumb out, but using the top long bones, so to speak, of the fingers to create fists. This is another way to keep very strong. I don't believe I would turn them here because it's putting too much pressure on the carpal bones here on the outside of the wrist. So by bringing them in, we're coming straight down rather safely. Now this is great for plank, for lunges, a lot of positions, for spinal balance where we're bringing out arm and leg and so on. So this is quite fine. However, if we use fist for wrist in down dog or child's pose, because we're coming back, I'm not so sure this is the best thing to do for the wrist and for the hand. Okay, overstretching part of the muscle here, pinching, contracting some of the carpal bone here might cause some inflammation in some of the tendon and kind of the delicate part of the wrist. So not really recommended that you do fist for wrist if you're coming offline, such as down dog, child's pose, etc. It would be better to go ahead and open the hands, lengthen away, and put all of the, most of the strength in the extension of the shoulder and the upper back, but still providing this nice seal. Now another way, besides flat hand, 2 inches out, fist for wrist, pretty much directly underneath the shoulder. You might go out a tiny, tiny bit, but avoiding this. Another way that you can use your hands on your mat is to bring the fingertips up and create almost like you have an upside down teacup on the mat and your hand is over that teacup. So this is another great way. It not only gives you height, it strengthens each individual finger. You are on the pad of the finger. Don't press the joints flat. I'm coming up onto the pad of the finger, and it keeps a nice straight wrist. So this is always very helpful in some postures in yoga, is to come up high. People that have arthritis or any kind of inflammation in the joints of the hand, you're going to just do whatever works for you. So there's lots of choices, and it depends again on how you feel that day for the hands. So in Sanskrit, the word for hands is hasta, and one of the seals of yoga, the secondary seals of yoga, are the hands and the feet. So this is hastabandha, or hand seal, to bind or to seal, bound, into the mat. So understanding the anatomy of just your hands and a little bit of the wrist action, controlling the anatomy, brings power and strength to the 34 muscles of the hand and the low forearm. Brings strength, circulation, bone marrow, circulation all the way into the marrow of the 29 bones, and of course, 28 joints. It's a lot to work with. Continue to keep your hands strong, bringing your hands to heart center,